begin here. Okay. Here. Here. Okay. Perfect. So today we'll talk about past lives, reincarnation, programs from other dimensions, occult agendas, and many things. So I'm waiting. This class will be very helpful for everybody, including me. Akasha. Akasha comes from a word that means ether, air, or atmosphere. Is a Sanskrit word that comes from India, okay? And it's a compendium of events, memories, thoughts, emotions, and many more things in every time, any dimension, any lifetime you have ever lived, okay? But there is something interesting here. Some people think that the Akashic records or chronicles are outside yourself. Many people think there are like some gods or angels taking care of papers where everything is written. It's not that way, okay? You are a soul, you are an immortal soul, very powerful, and everything that you have ever lived, said, thought, everything that you are right now is the result of all your lifetimes, all the dimensions, all your decisions, and everything is inside you. So all these events, all these memories are not outside, are not in some strange place in the universe. And this is something very important that I really want you to know. The Akashic memories are on the inside. And today we will go very deep. You have a real being, you have the real spirit that you are, and you have your soul. What is the difference between a spirit and a soul? Okay, the spirit is the pure essence of God that is inside you. The spirit doesn't have any memories, any decision. The spirit doesn't have mind, doesn't have any chronicles or any history. The spirit is completely pure and is something that cannot die and cannot be modified. But the soul is your individuality, is this part of the, excuse me a little bit, ahí vienen ahí vienen estos imbéciles, por favor, Alma, ciérrale. We have some people that are selling things in the street. Just, you may listen a little bit. Okay. So, your spirit is, you cannot modify it. The spirit cannot be corrupted. The spirit cannot have any sin. The spirit is pure, is just the divine essence in you. This spirit doesn't have any mind, any thoughts, any remembers. The soul, that is the spirit, but surrounded with mind, with a very subtle and fine mind. This mind has beliefs, has remembering. So that's the difference between spirit and soul. And the soul is the one that thinks it's separated, is divided with everything, with God. And this, the soul with its mind, the mind is the instrument of creation of the soul. The spirit cannot create specific things. The spirit is just divine. But the soul, because the soul has a layer of mind, the soul can create dimension, universes, experiences, bodies, and many, many, many things that are different from the purity and the divinity of this spirit. There is something interesting. This spirit is static. It doesn't move. Is eternal and doesn't have any experiences. It's just pure divinity in the universe, but the spirit cannot have experiences and cannot meet or create or do anything. Is there is Kabbalah, that is the mystical Judaism. Okay, in Kabbalah, um, there is a concept of this pure spirit, okay, that is the beginning of everything. One day, I suppose, like many of you are called Maria, you have read the Bible, the first chapter of the Bible, Christian Bible, that and the Old Testament. In the first book, we have the creation of everything, and then we have the creation of two beings. The first being, that is called Adam, okay, is the part of the history in which this pure divinity is surrounded with will, with individuality, and with mind. This is the first soul, that it was a very big soul, very powerful soul, and this soul could make questions and could think and create many, many, many things. This is called Adam. And it's said, and it's related in the Bible, that this being was very, very, very happy because he could do everything, he could manifest, and it was a very powerful God. Adam was a God, was not a simple human, and was not the first human in this life. It was God, a God, but with individuality. Let's imagine the first God that was separated from pure divinity, and the first God that had self, mind, and power, and the separation. Okay, so this being was very powerful, but then in the history he divided into two beings. When Adam is divided into Eve and Adam, two beings, is where this universe created its polarity, with this dimension was created. We live in a two-dimension reality where everything has two polarities, good and bad, light and darkness, hot and cold, woman and man, okay? Or everything in this reality is divided into two, proton and electron. We have masculine molecules and feminine molecules, okay? And we have from these laws that are called the laws of polarity, okay? We have another law that is the law of creation of the law and the law of generation. That is that to create something in this universe, both polarities must unite, and only where polarities get united, then it's possible to create. And this law, it happens every time. Inside us, we have polarity of mind and feeling, human and spirit. And in our body, everything is divided into two. We have two hands, two eyes, two brain hemispheres. We have two lungs, okay? In the liver, we have two parts of the liver, two kidneys, and everything is divided into two. And we have masculine and feminine energy. I think in some class in the future, we can talk about masculine and feminine energy. It's very, very interesting and very important subject to know if you want to be a good healer. Then this is what happened when Adam and Eve was created. Is just a parable, it's just a history. Then everything was divided into two, and this dimension, this reality was created. Then we have we have beings, we have God here in paradise, but in the history of this book, then we have some story that God told them. You must not eat from the temptation tree of judgment, of good and bad. God told them not to eat from the forbidden fruit. And this fruit was judgment, mind, and was the believing of in death, in being born, and believing in separation. So what happened here was that the mind of these gods, very, very big gods, asked themselves, what could happen if I doubt about everything? What would happen if I believe that there are bad things or good things, better and worse things? And when the mind, and this happens every day, when the mind is separated and when the mind makes judgment, then both gods fall into hell, into suffering. This has many meanings, but the main meaning is you must not ever judge something as good and bad, because every time you commit judgment to any situation, you will suffer and you will burn into hell. So, hell is judgment. If you never judge something, you cannot suffer. And every time you are suffering, it means that you are judging a situation, a people. You are judging past and future. Okay, we have here Adam Kadmon. Yes, exactly. That's exactly the name, the Adam Kadmon in the Kabbalah. And then chat, judgment is duality. That's exactly what's what's happening, what happened over there. And this is a history that happens every day, because every day we are judging, we are making judgments of ourselves, of our actions, of others, and we are going into hell every day. Okay, so what happened? These gods came, and they ask to create another dimension in polarity. They were very powerful, so they create the separate polarity. If we are powerful here, we became human. If we were immortal here, we became mortal. If we have love here, we created fear. So this is the place where the souls began to create suffering. And only when these souls or when these gods began to create suffering, their vibration began to come down, 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 and they were able to come to a physical dimension. Okay, you cannot live in the body of an animal that we have, the body of a monkey, a modified monkey here. If we were with very high vibration souls, we could liquefy these bodies. We need our soul to lower a lot the vibration, a lot, in order to come here and have a human experience. Okay, there are many histories about why these gods decided to resign to their divinity. There is a very beautiful movie, Hollywood movie, that is called how's the name in English? It's like an angel that fall in love with Nicolas Cage. I don't remember the title in English, but it's a movie in which Nicolas Cage was an angel, and he got in love with a human, so he wanted to become human, and he resigned to his divinity so he could go into the body of a human. This is something that happens every time. Souls in heaven sometimes get bored of being there and want to come to experience the reality, the physical reality here. Okay, you can see the original movie is called The Wings of Desire. It's a German movie, Wings of Desire. You can see it in YouTube, I think. Okay, so these spirits come here, and here the class begins. Why you come here? Every spirit has different agendas and objectives into being here. Here we have the representation of the wheel of life and death, the Tibetan wheel of life and death. This is a very nice representation. This guy, like a demon, is called Yama, that is the Lord of Death. And he's eating the wheel. He has the wheel in his hands, and he's eating everything inside the wheels. He's making everything dies and reborn, dies and reborn, die and reborn, and it's like a game. Okay. Once your spirit decided to come to this reality, your spirit was completely trapped in this dimension. The spirit cannot go again to its original place because our spirits are trapped right now. They lock the door and we don't know, we don't have the key. We lost the key. I will talk about why we cannot go again into our original place of living. So the Tibetan people make this representation here of here we have the positive part of life, the nice reincarnation, and here we have some light heavens here that are very, very beautiful state of consciousness, but not divinity. And here in the upper part is represented all the suffering and the hells. They believe in 7 different part of suffering or hell here, okay? And every picture here is a representation of suffering of human life, and they tell that we are always wanted to possess, to love, to create something different. We want to enjoy this life, but the enjoyment and happiness is not the real essence of this dimension of this reality. The real essence of this reality is suffering and death, because everything disappears. Eventually, the stars die, the electrons, the atoms, and everything in this reality dies. All time, everything is dying, and every human being and every living thing in this reality is suffering because of that. In the center of the wheel, we cannot see very nice here, but we have 3 animals that represent hate, ignorance, and attachment. And they call it the 3 roots of every suffering. This is something that can be studied. Very interesting. So you, as a spirit, decided to come to this dimension. Why? The reason for Dimitri or the reason for Maria was very different from my reason to stay here. There are lovely reasons like service, like loving, like creating beautiful things. And there are souls that wanted to destroy, that wanted to hate and to experience obscurity and hell. It's very different in many, many, many ways. So, what are we? What in this body? What is the energy that makes this body lives? And where are all the Akashic records? Okay, you have here the flame of light. This flame of light, I think I have told you about this in some other class, is about 80 centimeters long, almost a meter. Okay, it's 85 centimeters long. It's a filament of light, and this filament of light lives inside your spine. Okay, in the spine here, we have a channel, okay, that is called the ependymus or the ependymarian channel. Is 2 millimeter in diameter and is full of liquid. So this filament lives here, begins from this side, from the upper part of the neck, and goes 80 centimeters to the lumbar part of your spine. This is where you really live. Then, surrounded of two channels of masculine and feminine energy that surround this channel, we have these channels that sustain every life in your body. Mhm. If you do yoga, okay, this is called the Kundalini energy. The Kundalini energy is the energy of life with both aspects, masculine and feminine. If you remember the caduceus, or the symbol of medicine, of Hippocratic medicine, the caduceus is like a tooth, and then two snakes, and then two wings. And the meaning is your soul, your filament of light, the energy, okay, wings that are the divinity in us, okay, and the spirit on the upper part of the symbol. And that's the symbol of Hippocratic medicine, Greek medicine. Then in Greek, you live in the part of the world in which modern medicine was created, Occidental medicine, okay? And they knew better than we know now how to cure people. Mhm. So that's the symbol. Um, so we live here. This is our divinity. Inside of this filament, we have all the wisdom. If we can connect with the energy of this filament, you can know about everything, every time, every dimension, every reason, farther than our mind, because this is God, this is divinity, and divinity is living inside you. This filament is full of power, power of creation, and power of will, taking decisions. This is the place where we can create. People in this dimension want to create by making plans, by working with their hands, or creating things by thoughts. If you connect with your divinity here, and you can connect your mind and your body with your real power here, then this filament will create everything that you need to have in order to live your perfect life. People become very creative when they connect with this. But something very funny is that very good musicians are very connected with this filament, because this filament create music, beautiful music. Okay, this is called inspiration. Inspiration is a word that has two parts. In spirit, inspiration is called from the connection of my spirit. And here in this filament, we have the divine will. The divine will is to create beauty, order, health, enjoyment, and create heaven. And that's the real will of our soul, our spirit. This filament have infinite value. Infinite value. It doesn't matter if everything that is surrounding this filament is full of fear. Your real value is infinite, because you have the value of God, of divinity. that is contained in this filament. And this filament deserves everything, the best in your life, deserve peace, abundance, prosperity, love, happiness, very nice creations. And why people sometimes lose all of these beautiful things? Because they are not connected with the filament. Because you have surrounded this filament with a lot of things that blockage everything. I will see it later. This filament is the energy of love and order. Okay, so here we have the truth. You are the truth. Every time you say, I am, I don't know how you say it in Greek. In Spanish is yo soy. I am. You're referring to this filament, this divine filament. I am. That is the truth. In Sanskrit, satya. And this truth is surrounded, as I told you, to lower its vibration and to permit this soul to go into experience this body with egoism. This egoism is called ankar. Then you put mind outside this egoism, of this individualism. In this egoism, you create I and you. I am better than you. Then you create the mind with all judgments, all rememberings, all beliefs, all false beliefs. That is the intellect. This is a fine mind that is called the buddhi here. And then the stupid mind of the normal man. All the people that are in France and in Spain buying things right now, all the people that are drinking and having a lot of drugs because the quarantine is finishing, this is the stupid mind, the low, very low mind vibration from all presidents, all politicians, and all criminals, and many things, many people. So you surround this filament with this. Then you surround it with your aura and with your chakras that are part from the subtle body. Shukshma Sharir is the subtle body. Is a fine electromagnetic energy that can be perceived here. And then you put it the physical body, Stul Sharir. So the divine filament is surrounded with a lot of coverings, of mask, and this is what makes a human being. So this is how I explain everything. In the red part here, we have the divine filament, and then in blue, we have the Akashic records. We have here in our subtle mind all the memories of everything you have been, every place and everywhere you have existed. Every word, every thought that you have made in any existence of reality is inside you. Not inside the filament, but surrounding the filament. Then all of these rememberings, all of the decisions, all of the promises, all of the vows, all of the contracts that you have made, all the conclusions, all the things that you have decided is the reality, is surrounding the filament. It's with the ancestral and familiar mind. Your family has an energy, and this energy is inside and surrounding this mind, these rememberings, and are very, very similar. Your familiar energy, your family tree, it's like an equivalent of your past lives. The energy of your family in this life is very similar as the energy that you have created in your past lives. So your Akashic records determine which family are you going to be born. Mhm. It's very, very similar. Sometimes in my classes, I teach to people, if you want to know what did you do in your past life, if you want to know your Akashic record, just look at your family. You can look at your father and look at your mother. Father and mother are like a picture of our past life, our decisions, our beliefs. Mhm. So in this blue part are all the Akashic records and are inside us. There are some people that ask the gods of the or the guardians of Akashic records, please let me know. Hey, the guardian of your Akashic records is you. And sometimes you put some locks and you put some tricks inside you so you cannot remember and you cannot go into your Akashic records because you don't like them. You have many judgments about many, many things that you have made in your past lives. Here, this blue energy that we have here is creative too, creates a lot of things. And this is subtle mind. And what does this create? The content. If you have made a decision, I am a bad man or I am a bad woman, then this layer will create everything to make this real. If you have decided that you won't have any money in this reality, and you have this Akashic record in this blue layer, then this blue layer automatically will create the reality of not having money. If, for example, if you have been a monk or a nun in your past life and you have created the reality that sex is bad and dirty and sinful, then this layer will create a lot of things in order to make this real completely. Okay? We have surrounding everything your childhood emotions here in the green layer here, all the energy that you received in the mother's womb, in the moment you were conceived. Okay, there is something very, very important here. Here we have the cell of your mother, the egg cell, and here we have the sperma of your father. When they are having sexual relationship, they both have a special energy. Why are they having sex? They are having sex with love, with aggressivity, with fear, with boring, with vengeance. Which energy are your father having when they are having sexual intercourse. Okay, this energy, when the sperma fertilizes the egg cell, this energy goes inside yourself. This is the why you were created. The purpose, why your mother and your father decided to be pregnant from you. This energy is here in the green layer of this picture. And then when you are born, the first 7 years that are the most important years in your life, okay, all the energy, all the thoughts, all the programs, all the loyalties, you take them and make everything yours here, okay? So you make this layer. So we have our divine layer, mind and Akashic records, decisions. Then we have ancestral and childhood energy. And then we have the human consciousness layer. When you are born here, you are connected to a consciousness grid, human consciousness grid here. And you are connected with social programs, religion programs, politic programs, pollution, all of many mental pollution, confusion, ignorance, many things that are not true, lies, bad food, drugs, all the information of the media, all the wrong information and everything. And that's the last layer of your mind. The mind that is very low and is connected with all human minds. In these times, this layer is very dark, is very contaminated with a lot of fear, demonic energy, very, very, very bad energy. And many people are connected to this. For almost 90% of humanity, this last layer is the layer that controls them and is full of fear and ignorance. This is all the people that go to war. These are all the criminals, all the assassins, and all the people that live depressed. Okay? Just, I want you to see this picture. You are divine here, but imagine that you are controlled by your past lives, you are controlled by your familiar energy, and you are controlled by the human mind, the collective human mind. Okay, so these people don't have any power of decision. They are just living like robots and they cannot change. They are full of addictions. This is very, very important. Why? Because here we have the root of every sickness, of every depression, of every cancer, of every autoimmune disease. Okay? If you have overweight, premature aging, if you have any mental or physical problem, you have here in every layer from this blue, black, green, you have things in every layer that are creating the disease. If you have a disease in your relationships with your husband or with your wife or with your children, this disease of the relationships are sustained by many things in all these layers. This is very important because to be a very, very good healer, you have to find in which layer are the real problems of every disease, and every patient is completely different. We have here no rules. We can have people with diabetes and with overweight, and in each people, all the layers will be different. All the programs are different. All the familiar loyalties are very different. So it's like an art to make diagnosis. What is happening with this person? You have to be aware that in every person, in every human being, there is a filament of divinity and love and order. And sometimes you can connect with this divinity. For example, in this moment, I want to make conscious that I am talking with divine beings. And now, in this moment, I can connect with your divinity and I can love this divinity. And I can elect not to see all the other layers in this moment. And this is what namaste means. Namaste, that is a word in Sanskrit, that means I recognize the divinity in you. And last week, I recorded a mantra, a very beautiful mantra. I can show you later if you want, that is called In Lakesh, that is a Mayan vocable, that it means I recognize that you have the same divinity in you as the same divinity in me. We both are divine. The mantra was Om In Lakesh, okay? So we can recognize this divinity. This is something very important when you are treating a patient, a person with a disease. First, do not see all the layers, because these layers are not truth. These layers are false, are illusory. And why I am telling you that these layers are just an illusion? Because when the time passes, millions of years, all your programations, all your false beliefs on all these layers will be gone, but not the divine filament. The divine filament will be living in millions of years. So we have just one real thing. We have one reality, that is your divinity, and we have illusions. How many illusions are you loving in your life? How many illusions in these false layers you have decided that are real and that you cannot let them go? Because if you subconsciously decided that you let go one of these layers, you think you are going to die. And this is the fear of getting cured, the fear of healing. Because in order to heal, you have to erase these layers. And if you think that the layers are you, you will be afraid of health, afraid of getting healthy. How many of these layers you love and you don't want to get rid of these layers? How many people, when you are explaining the truth, they tell you, no, it's not that way. I don't want to think that way. Okay, because they are protecting these layers. The love of illusions, the love for maintaining illusion for all eternity here. In all these layers, are contained all the subjects, all your beliefs of self-esteem. Who are you? Which is your value, your real value? Your beliefs about money, about emotions, work and professions, health. Here in all these layers, we have all the beliefs that determine our physical health and our emotional health, our depression. Your sexuality is a profound reflex, a profound equivalent of the content in these illusory layers. Your marriage, your relationships, the relationship with your son and daughter. Here. And we are talking right now of these Akashic records, okay? In every layer, we have point of view, and more important, the fixed points of view are the mental structures that you have created and are fixed as blocks. I am bad. Okay, I need this person. I hate this person. I don't love. I will never forgive. Life is difficult. Money always goes. Money is difficult. I will age a lot. I will die. And many fixed point of view. Every one of us have different fixed point of view. This is one of the most important things to destroy in every disease. Conclusions about life, about you, about your wife, your sons, many things that you have created and that you believe that they are real. I am going to tell you one thing right now. 99.9% of all your beliefs are not true. In every way. Everything that you know about life, about God, about sex, about money, about human beings, about religion, about God, everything is false. But you think they are true and you make everything true. All your conclusions, all the laws that you think they are eternal, all your beliefs, all your memories, all your interpretations of the past, of the future, or on the actual events. All of these are part of the Akashic records. You have point of views created 2,000 years ago. You have point of views created before you decided to be a human being, and conclusions and laws. And everything is recorded inside in this blue layer that is surrounded the divine filament. These are the Akashic records in many ways, in many kinds of energy. All the judgments, for example, here, there are many spirits that judge human species before being born as a human. And there are many humans that hate humanity, as Hitler, as Stalin, and many things. These guys, for example, Hitler decided before being a human, decided that humanity was bad. And the only way to heal this earth was destroying people. These are Akashic records from many lifetimes, or, as I told you before being a human being. How many conclusions, laws, and realities you have in your Akashic records, in your files, in your programs? But we have other energies. We have emotions, and we have other energies that even spiritual healers doesn't know how to heal or how to find. These energies are called pre-verbal or pre-mental energies. These are energies created from our soul, from our upper mind, and are not thoughts, are energies, very strange, and they are inside our Akashic records, here again in the blue layer. And we have some tricks. We have unknown energies, hidden energies, unseen, unknown. Inside this blue layer, we have hidden places. Things, for example, I don't know if you remember, if you have some time, have had any money, and you're in your house, or a key or something that you want to hide, and you put it someplace, and then you forget where I put the key, where I put the money. Okay, the same happens with the Akashic records, with decisions, and with energies. We had a lot of hidden places inside us that we created. And once we hide these conclusions, we forget that we made it and we created, but all these structures keep working. So these are called the CQ energies. I will tell you later what is CQ. And there is another very powerful trap that are called the re-scripture programs, that are like virus that we have in our Akashic records, are automatic machines of rewriting everything. For example, if I created in some past life that sex is bad and sex is sinful and dirty, and that sex lead me always to hell, to suffering and death. If you're a monk, if you're a pope, if you're a spiritual leader, you will create some machines inside you, and you give them some work. If in any lifetime, in any place, I forget that sex is dirty, please rewrite it. And what happens when you are taking some therapies, when you are cleaning your Akashic records, you clean the beliefs, but you don't clean or destroy the re-scripture programs. So you clean, you feel better for 2 or 3 days, and these programs come here and rewrite it again and recreate the things you erase in your consultation, in your therapy. These re-scripture programs are very, very, very important to cleanse. The same with the preverbal energies. Okay. So we live in a vicious circle of eternal suffering. We live in a trap. Okay. All of these layers begin to create automatically everything, our relation, our body, our economy, our profession. Then all these things that we are creating reprogram our mind again. And every time, for example, if you don't want to smoke, I don't know if any of you smoke tobacco, okay? But let's imagine that you do, but you don't want to do smoke, but you cannot stop. So every time you smoke, you write in your Akashic records, you are someone that smokes, and you create a fixed point of view. I cannot stop smoking. I cannot quit smoking. So you have a point of view. So you try to stop, but you cannot because you have created a fixed and a strong point of view. I cannot quit smoking. And this fixed point of view is sustained from other part by another point of view that is, I don't know how to live and I don't know how to be happy. So if I cannot be happy, I must destroy myself. So we have, I cannot stop smoking, I am bad, and I want to destroy the bad persons. So we have chains that work inside ourselves. If you want to do very, very good therapy in your patients and in yourself, you must know how to find these chains. Sometimes the real problem is not that you are smoking, but the real problem is that you hate yourself. And you hate yourself because in some past life, you killed many people, or you tortured someone, or you killed a baby, or you made some abortions, okay? or you gave venom, some poison to your husband, and you kill him. So we have chains of rememberings, of conclusions, of decisions, and point of views. Our mind is very complex. All of these is how all the Akashic records work in between and helping the others records. There are many kind of records. Akashic records are not just memories, images, or historic things. There are a lot of orders. So we live normally in an eternal trap. And we have created our mind very powerful to be trapped in this reality for all eternity. We are like in a prison. This 3D dimensional reality is like a prison without escape for us. Here is the trap. And our mind is always creating more layers and more layers. What's the problem with a normal person that is not studying all of these things? The person every day is creating more layers and more layers and more logs and more hidden things and more point of views and more judgment and more hate. So there are people that every day of their lifetime are creating more layers. And there's another big problem. When you die, none of these layers are healed or are left behind. When you die, you take all your layers And with these layers, you choose your next family. As I told you earlier, your family is like an X-ray image from all the layers that surround your divinity. All your family, all the consciousness of your family is an X-ray of you. This is why relationship with mother and father are so difficult, because when you see them, you are watching on all your layers, specifically the layers you don't like. And this is true for every relationship. Okay? If you don't love someone, if you reject somebody, it's because you are seeing your layers in these people. And the other way is the same. When you love some layers, and you can love things of you that are not very nice, and when you see people that has the same layers, okay, you love them or you hate them. So relationships is very specifically familiar relationships are the reflex of our internal layers. Here we have the three states of being in this reality. Okay, we have normal beings, maybe your brother, your sister, that is the average human, that is working, that is suffering, that struggles every day, but sometimes they have vacations and sometimes they are happy on Friday and on Sunday. Okay, but then again come Monday. This is normal people. Okay, we can have the criminals, the politicians, the drug addicts. Here the mind becomes very, very, very big, and the fixed point of views, destructive point of views, becomes dominant completely. And these people commit suicide. These people has very strong and difficult depressions and very strange diseases inside them. And they create very tragical lives. For example, these people that are in Israel, in Middle Orient, these Palestinian people that are born, that are tortured, all these people that are suffering a lot in very poor places, they have created a very destructive mind, and they cannot go outside of this reality. Okay, and we have the third state of being, that is someone that is doing the work in this life, the work of healing, cleansing day, every day, healing some layer, some record, canceling some decisions. Okay, it's kind of easy to connect with your Akashic records. People think that you have to go into a very mystic state of trance to know and heal your Akashic records, and this is not true. It's very easy to connect with your records. You just have to open your eyes and see what is happening in your surroundings. Why? Because your Akashic records are creating every second of your life your outside world. Your outside world is a reflex of your inside programming, of your mind, of your profound mind, subconscious mind. So, for example, I am almost every hour in a normal day cleansing Akashic records. Every thought, every negative thought, any fear, any confusion, any desire that I don't like, I can't erase. I can erase, cleanse by meditating, by using all my tools. So you can make every day an opportunity to cleanse all your Akashic records. You are in contact with them, with your emotions. If you are feeling anxiety, then you can connect with the record that is creating anxiety and you can heal. If you are thinking about negative things, you can connect with the layer and you can discreate, erase, cancel all these records, all these beliefs. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then, okay. We have here two positions in life. There are some souls or some spirits that they really believe that they are the layers and they have no power. So they choose to be victims, eternal and completely powerless victims. They don't have any power. They live completely depleted of happiness and they renounce to change their life. And these, my friends, these are decisions from many people nowadays. People who commit suicide, people who kills other people. Okay? So remember a part in your life in which you felt that everything was lost and that you will never change your life. These people are always crying, are always depressed. They lose all hope for all eternity. This is the great victims. What is the way to treat these people? There are two ways. If they want to learn, they want to read, they want to heal, you can help them. But if they don't want, you must let them alone. And what will happen? They will die. And they will die a few lives, incarnations. They will die, and somehow their soul begin to get mature and get in contact with wisdom in some more lives. That's the way. And there are another kind of people, the people that decides to connect with I am, with the divinity, and that let the divinity erase, cancel, and reprogram all the layers. Again, these layers of here are just illusions, and everything in the layers can be erased, all the rememberings, all the decisions, all the conclusions, absolutely all your beliefs can be cleansed because you have this divinity. And what happens when you are cleansing the layers, this filament began to grow and began to be bigger and bigger and begin to resonate different. And when this filament begins to grow because you are liberating it from all the layers, this vibration will change your body structure. The way in which all your molecules and all your cells work is completely different. You can you can read about some woman that was called the Mother Teresa, or a woman now in India that is called Amma, the Mother Amma, that is a saint. Okay, all these people never felt tired. They never felt negative emotions or hate, and they were working with people with strong infections, with lepra, and with many bad things, and their body are very strong. And even if they have people with tuberculosis, with herpes, and with very bad infections, their body was always healthy. Healthy. Why? Because your divine filament is the one that gives all the energy of life to your cells. If you have very strong layers, then the filament is compressed and cannot take energy to the cells. If you cleanse all your layers, then the filament begin to expand and all your cells begin to work in divine perfection. So you can live like a victim, compressed and making all the layers every day stronger and heavier, and you can give power to these layers, and these layers sometimes you confound them with demons. You think that they are entities, and they are not entities. You give them power, you give them will and chance to take decisions by themselves, the layers, and they are your creation. And the other way you can live is expanding your divinity, expanding your real being. And when you expand this, okay, your body is always with energy and healthy. This is the point with the coronavirus right now. All the people that is dying from the coronavirus is like this. The filament is very thin. You can read about 96-year-old women that are healing from coronavirus infection. Why? A 96-year-old woman can get healed from this infection, and why a 20-year-old man can die from the coronavirus. The coronavirus and any microorganism has power. When the coronavirus power is more than the little power of your divinity, you will die. When your spiritual power, the spiritual energy is much higher, the coronavirus cannot go into your body because you are vibrating in a very strong and high frequency. This is the real medicine, the medicine of the soul, the medicine of decompressing your soul and feeding your cells, your DNA with divine energy. This is the reality. So, if you want to be immune to coronavirus, here you have the answer. Now, what is karma? Okay, people talk a lot about karma that is related with Akashic records. Okay, karma here is seen as good or bad actions and conceived as a matter which is sticking to the soul. Okay, over many lifetimes, beings can try to attract less and less karmic matter and remove the one that is already there. In Buddhism, karma is understood as good or bad intentional actions performed in mind, body, and speech. So, here, what generates karma? Intentional actions that produce karmic results can be split into three categories: body, speech, and mind. What is karma exactly? Okay, let's return to here. For example, if I think right now about Maria or in Dimitri, and I begin to think, oh, I don't like them, they are ugly, and I will see if I can take their money because I need money. And I'm thinking this way, okay? Inside all my layers, I am creating something about me. I am doing a recreation of a destructive being. So this destructive being that I'm creating within myself will destroy myself. If I am thinking of betraying Maria or Christina or to kill them, I am creating a killer inside me, and this killer will kill me. And if I am betraying other people, these creations inside of my layers will betray me and will attract betrayal. So if karma is not that the universe or God is watching at you and deciding that you must be punished because of your actions. Karma is the same as Akashic records. Karma is only the knowledge that every thought, every word, and every action and every intention that you do creates something in your layers. And there can only be two kinds of actions. The kind of actions that erase the layer and make them lighter and expand your divine energy in this dimension, or the actions that make them heavier and contract your divine energy. And if you expand or you contract your divine energy, this will change your physical reality. So karma is a move inside, a reprogramming of your inside layers with the correspondent changes and movement of objects and persons and relationship in the 3D reality. This is karma and is inside of you. There are no recordings in the universe of the bad things that you have made in the universe. Mhm. There are no gods writing everything that you are doing. Everything is your creation. If you kill someone, at the same time, you will create some energy in the interior layers that will kill you many times in many lifetimes. If you make some fraud economically, if you take money from other people illegally, okay, you will lose a lot of money. But it's not because the universe will take you the money, it's because you create a specific layer for money. And when you take money from other people, when you are not honest, you create a robber inside you. And this robber will modify your reality and will make you suffer the consequences of your internal creation. Okay? This is very complex, and we could talk about karma and many laws of this internal creation in the layers. But very specific, I want you to know everything, every record, and every karmic implant is inside you. For example, here, you can, and this is called the Kriya Yoga. I always recommend people to read a book, and I will recommend it right now to you. I would like you to read in these next weeks. The book is from a guide that is called Paramahansa Yogananda. Yogananda, okay? And the book is the autobiography of a yogi, or a yogi autobiography. Is the main book of Paramahansa Yogananda. Okay? In this book and many books that he wrote, he was an incarnation of love. He was called a Prem Avatar. He was the human incarnation of love. And he was a very beautiful teacher and lovely teacher. Okay? He made a specific discipline that is called Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is a discipline where you take all the energy from your senses and you give this energy to your divine filament. So instead of seeing, smelling, and feeling in meditation, you take all the energy to the divine filament, then you expand your divine filament and you use your divine filament to cleanse and erase all the layers. And in this Kriya Yoga, he told that when you do 1 or 2 years of Kriya Yoga discipline, you could advance more than 1,000 years of normal teachings in normal human life. So there is a way in which you can use your divine energy to cleanse all the layers. And it's not very difficult. I would like you to read this book. Okay? Now, we will begin with the therapy. Just before we begin with the therapy, I want you um, to ask if someone has any question, any doubt, or any comment. Because we will begin to cleanse the layers From now on, we will be cleansing layers, okay? And the energy will be moving a lot, okay? Well, let me see. Okay, we will have a 5 minutes break, okay? I need to take some water to breathe a little bit, and then we will begin, okay? We will have 10 minutes break, okay? And we will continue. Just prepare for the next part. That will be interesting, right? See you. Here.